I think the president's got a good short list for the Fed. I look forward to the choice. This is probably the most challenging time to run the Fed that I could ever imagine.
So
that was diplomatic. See
that
how
was
he did
exactly.
that? You learn to do that when you're Dean of Columbia.
Exactly. Glenn, how do you view here the Fed here? It's in a little bit of a position that doesn't necessarily find itself very often, which is really under some political pressure from the White House here. How do you view the Fed these days?
Well, I think there's a short run and a long run challenge. The short run challenge is the one in the news, which is, what do you do about rates? You have inflation that's too high. You have a job market weakening. I think the case for a lot of rate cuts is pretty weak. To the extent that there are worries about employment, many of those are structural. They're AI. They're changes that really are beyond the Fed's purview. So I think the Fed's watchful waiting makes sense. Longer term, the challenge is, how do you keep an independent Fed in the presence of political pressures? And I think while the Fed needs to be independent, it has made mistakes. President Trump is not entirely incorrect. And so the next chair will have to do some reforms.
So you mentioned AI, Glenn. It's certainly been a key narrative of this market over the last 2 to 3 years as companies step up their spending here. But what are the impacts, do you think, on the U.S. labor force? There's a lot of consternation out there.
Well, I think it's too soon to tell. I mean, basically, AI can either substitute on the one hand for workers, or it can complement workers' skills. And we're seeing both of those in the labor market. It won't surprise you to know economists completely differ in what their views are on AI. I think in the long run, AI is going to displace many jobs, but create many more jobs. Where I think people may be surprised is on market valuations and who wins from AI. Just like we learned in the telco boom in the 90s, a lot of the first movers lose money, but ultimately it raises productivity. We may well see that play.
Let's go there. I mean, Glenn Hubbard with us, folks, for all of you worldwide on YouTube and all of our radio affiliates in America. Thank you for joining this morning. Glenn, you're teaching at Columbia, or frankly, at your Central Florida, and you have to discuss productivity. We're blind right now to where productivity is in 2025. When will we have an understanding of this new productivity?
Well, it's a great question, Tom. And the honest answer is it takes time. So if you look at previous waves of what economists call general purpose technologies like electricity or mainframe computing or the internet, they took a decade or more to really ripple through productivity. And the reason is it takes time for businesses, for individuals to adapt. I think it'll take less time this time. So it may be within 5 years, but we shouldn't be expecting it overnight.
Okay, but Paul and I have had this in many conversations, just brilliant work. And thank you to Richard Clarida for his support of the show. Glenn Hubbard, long ago in globalization, we broke a bargain with the clothing labor of the Carolinas. We said, we're going to retrain you, we're going to do this. Are we going to do the same thing with AI, where we go sort of AI globalization and we break the labor bargain with all those people pushed out of jobs?
I'm super worried about this point. It is the political economy question of our time. If you look at the past 3 or 4 decades, technological change is actually number one, then globalization. We didn't retrain people. We were too slow moving. AI is going to happen faster. I do worry about it. I hope the administration will become more focused on how do you get
come on. Glenn, I got time. I got 1 minute left. Glenn, let me cut to the chase. The elites are from the fancy schools up north. Granted, you did so well in the South, you went to Harvard. There's like 3 zip codes out near Palo Alto. There's the northeastern zip codes. You're one of the few people we have who viscerally gets the South. What's your message to the elites about not doing a redux of that busted globalization of years ago?
Well, 2 things. One, there's smart people and innovative ideas everywhere. We need applied research centers everywhere. We need to help places left behind. And second, our politics depend on this. If we want to embrace AI and all it brings, we got to get this right.